Hello tribe, so welcome back to my channel. Someone went shopping, online shopping of course. So because of all of you guys who have so far donated to this channel, I have bought a couple of new decks and we're gonna be talking about them today. I was about to do the unboxing video, but I had holiday booked and I had private studio. I was crazy busy trying to navigate the 3D life around this spiritual life of mine. So it was a bit of a challenge to keep these decks in because I had readings to do for other people and I wanted to use them. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a look at all these decks. We'll be talking about them, what you can use it for, how they look like. I'm pretty sure some of you have seen these decks before. If you haven't, stick with me. So we're gonna start with I do think I want to start with life purpose cards, and I'm gonna show you how it comes and how it looks like. So let me adjust the camera a bit so I can see what I'm showing you. Now this is by Doreen Virtue. I bet everyone knows Doreen Virtue. This deck is all about life purpose, and I do think that it kind of helps for extra messages if you do want to know where you're supposed to be headed next or what your life purpose looks like. I don't like reading oracle cards on its own though, so I use tarot and I use any other divination tools that I feel is appropriate for that certain person. But I think these are quite good. Some of these cards are not talking about the life purpose. Some of them are giving you advice, which is kind of nice if, let's say, if you're not ready or if you need to do something prior to heading towards your life path. So that's how they look like. We have counseling, we have trust. These are very beautiful cards and they kind of straight to the point. I like that about them. It's not too much. It's just enough information written here. You can interpret it if you feel like intuitively that you need to dig a bit more into it. I feel like tarot helps a lot with that. When it comes to life path, it's quite difficult and I don't think that is necessary to tell someone the exact path they have to take. For example, you are gonna be the most awesome jewelry maker, because when it comes to life path, it's our mission to find it ourselves. That's why we look in where our soul is taking us. We have to be very connected to our higher self, and by doing so we learn so much more than just finding our life mission. But these are the cards and that's how they look like. It comes with a book as well. You can read a bit more about it in the book. It has a bit of a description too if you'd like to. These are fun. I like these cards and these are quite straight to the point. Now the next deck that I bought to vibe with the aqua vibes on this channel is called Whispers of the Ocean, which I truly love. You know me guys, and ocean. I feel like these are wonderful. They're quite massive. It's by the way by Angela. These are quite massive guys. I didn't know that they're gonna be that big, so I shuffled them vertically like that. And these are wonderful too. Look at the imagery of this. Look at that. When I took them first, I was like, look at the color scheme. You can also feel a lot just by looking at the card. If you don't wanna use descriptions, you can go by your own intuition, which I feel this deck does very well. It kind of triggers your imagination and you can pick up so much about the person just taken from the colors or from the vibe that this deck is giving you. This one is wonderful, isn't it? Look at this happy dolphin. Yeah, so this is just a deck that I'm gonna be, I think, using to give you guys advice, what you're supposed to be focused on, what might be waiting around the corner, like enjoy the journey, adrift in shallow water. It's just beautiful. So if any of you want this deck, that's how the box looks like. And there is more in the book if you want to read about these cards. And you know what I like about this book? That the paper seems very old, and it's recyclable paper, I think. And that's something that I truly like. It's like you open an old book. So that's that. Now let's move on to the two decks that are pretty serious, and I have great respect for these decks. I think you might have seen these decks in Joey's channel. If you don't know who I'm talking about, his channel is called Joseph Moon. He's one of my best friends, a fellow tarot reader, a soul sister. Now, I bought two decks from Travis McHenry. Now, these decks I respect a lot because this was really well researched. This guy traveled the world in order to gather all this information about the angels and the demons, and why I bought both, because I believe in balance. You can uncover a lot of secrets and a lot of wisdom when you dig into the shadow of own self, like a lot of you know. So these balance each other out. Now, different people use these decks differently, I believe, because you can communicate with these energies, you can ask for entities for advice. But what I do, I try to kind of take a look at, if I pull a card for myself, let's say so, or for someone else from it's called the Occult Tarot. And then the other one is the Angel Tarot. Isn't that beautiful? It's basically talking about the shadow self, what needs to be healed, what needs to be fixed, what to pay attention to, what maybe energy you have around yourself, which I truly love. I'm going to show you how these look like. Let's start with the Angel one. So that's the book, and it's very beautiful. That's the package it comes in. You can already feel how serious these decks are. Now, when you open the book, it is divided to archangels and angels, and you don't have a lot of things written about certain angels, but it's just information that you need to know. So for example, Lilaya, right? It says, let Israel hope in the Lord from, I can't pronounce it, henceforth and forever. And then it says, those born under Lilaya will become famous through their talents and actions and will have the confidence and favor of leaders. So you can already tell a lot about a person, their energy, or the angel standing next to them. What do you want to help this person with that you're reading for? And then you have other information here. It says, Lilaya can be called upon to fight against anger and rules over leaders and crowned heads. So you can call upon this angel and work with them in that way. Then it says, soul guardian for those born from 11 a.m. to 20 a.m. So that's quite specific. Then moral guardian for those born on 22nd of April, 3rd of July, 13th of September, 24th November, and 4th of February. Physical guardian for those born 1 to 5th of September. So it's very specific and it's quite interesting. If I need to know more about the angel, I would do research myself, or I would ask the person to do their own research, because I feel like it's a bit more personal and they pick up the information and they go to a website that they're supposed to come across, if that makes sense for you guys. Now, that's how the deck looks like. This is not a limited edition one. Travis have released limited edition ones, and they look a little bit more expensive, if I can put it that way, but both decks are the same, and as much research was put in the limited one is the same in these regular decks. They're just a little bit cheaper, if you know what I mean by the material. So that's what you got. So for example, every card also correlates to a tarot deck. So if you'd want to use it as a tarot deck, you could. There is no pressure. If you, for example, didn't understand what an angel is trying to tell you in this case, you could take a look at the Ace of Swords and kind of be like, okay, maybe I'm vibing with it more like a tarot deck rather than the angel deck. So that's what it says about the angel. It says God above all names elevated, so it's a bit of a quote. Then we have a description. It says affinity and friendship. That's something that this angel has power of or is related to. Obtain the friendship of anyone. So this is a very much friendship angel, if you can already tell. They have their own sigils. There's a lot of research, guys, done on this. If you want to take a look at this deeper, take a look at Travis McHenry work. It's quite impressive. It's quite impressive. Now, the same goes for the... oh, I like this one a lot. What does it say? Oh, the Empress, maybe that's why. Godfather the Generous. It says fertility and fruitfulness assures peace between married couples. So you would know straight away, you know, what this is trying to tell you if you are reading for someone who is married, or if you're reading for someone who is trying to solve any relationship issues, right? Now, you can also use it by asking which angel is present or would like to communicate or is around a certain person. I find that this works really well for me, and you can ask that person just to communicate with that specific angel if they want to, and ask for help and guidance. Now, the other deck that I have is called the Occult, and this is all about the shadow self, right? So I like that you released both, because I think when it comes to angels, as you all guys know, I don't know if all of you know that or not, but angels are quite distant from us because they are not as connected to the 3D. Now, the so-called demons are very connected to the material, so they can help you out in this 3D world. They're all about material, they're closer to earth. They're not as distant as angels, so demons are basically fallen angels, right? That's why they correlate with one another. And sometimes I've noticed what happens if you pull one of each cards, sometimes they even work together so well. Same cards would even pop up if you would take a look at the tarot meaning of it. So it's very interesting how these two are not trying to run away from each other, but they more so work together to give you a better understanding and a better message. Now, so these are very similar. Everything is very, very similar in this deck. Same, you have the numbers, you have the meanings. There's not as much meanings of these though as there are in angels. And for example, Barbathos, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. It says understands animals, recovers hidden treasure. So these are the traits of this demon specifically. Reconciles friends. You see what I mean? I've opened this one and we're talking about friends, and we talked about friends in the other card, which is very, very interesting. It threw me off. Reconciles friends and enemies. Resonates with the 10 of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. That's what you have. You have the imagery of it, and you have the sigils, and I think there is so much more to it that I haven't researched just yet. But truly, truly, congratulations, Travis, because this is really good work. Now, that's how it looks like. So the first card that we have is Strength. Well, the first one that is on the bottom. And that's the representation of it. These are the sigils, and it says these are the powers that this one holds. It says builds towers and destroys stone walls, causes rough waters, finds witches. So these are more deep. These ones you would have to truly feel through the imagery. That's what I'm doing. Some people want to work with, for example, such entities. You have to be ready, and you have to be very strong, and you have to be very respectful if you're working with these energies, if you want them to pass messages to you through automated writing, or if you want to truly connect the way that Travis has researched was the best way to do so. I mean, I think it's a bit of a personal journey when it comes to such things, because we're all different and we have different abilities. But what I would like to say for both of these decks, I approach these decks with respect. I don't use them just for anything. I pull usually just 2 cards. I don't tend to use it as tarot because I think this is much deeper than that. And just have respect for these decks. That's all that you have to do. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you do have, taken from these decks, if you do have any ideas for a pick a card, I am looking forward to it, because I find myself running out of ideas for truly useful readings, if you know what I mean. Not only those that feed your curiosity, which I love as well, and I try to do them as often as I can, but something that truly helps one grow. I think that's what I want in this channel, to understand your shadows, to make it your friend, not to try and run away from your shadows or to run away for something that's triggering you, to face it and then step into a lighter self. Okay, so that's what I have today, guys, and I'm gonna be doing pick a cards in the coming days, and I'm gonna catch you next time. Bye for now.